Hello and welcome to Morning Tarot, and today we've got three very interesting cards from the Major Arcana to talk about. We'll be talking about, quick check, the Devil, the Star and the Tower. So let's get started with the first card, which is the Devil. Okay, now I think it's almost impossible to talk about this card, be talking about the meanings and looking at this card without looking at the card that it represents very closely. And one who has a tarot deck of their own, a Rider-Waite deck like mine, or has been watching these videos, probably and hopefully will look at this card and will notice similarity between this card and another card, the Lovers. You can see the similarity in composition almost immediately. So here we have kind of the Adam and Eve male and female figures. And the same here, standing on the same sides. Presiding over the card for the Lovers is the Angel with the Sun. Presiding over this card, we have a figure of the Devil. The similarity in the composition is actually quite extraordinary. We have the Adam figure here in the Lovers with the burning bush behind him, and here we have the Adam figure next to this kind of fire with a fiery tail. We have Eve here next to the fruits, the tree of knowledge, and here we have Eve with kind of fruits coming from her tail as well. So just take a moment and have a look at the similarity of the imagery in these two cards. The other thing that is quite noteworthy, I've just realised that I haven't pulled this card out, so excuse me while I look down, is that if you remember when we first started the Major Arcana series on Sunday, we had the Magician. The Magician is pointing up and down, as above, so below. The Creator manifests the creation, and the creation reflects the Creator, as above, so below. And we see that the Devil is also holding a very similar posture, pointing up and pointing down. So I think these things are very interesting to note, and they do help us to have an understanding of what this card is talking about. So when we're looking at this card, number one, the card doesn't represent the Devil. I'm sure everybody watching this video will understand that, but of course it doesn't mean that the Devil is in your life, or the work of the Devil is at work in your life at all. Personally, I don't believe in the Devil anyway, but that's just my personal kind of personal belief. The Devil card is talking about a relationship of any kind. Not necessarily a personal, intimate, romantic relationship, but it can be a personal, intimate, romantic relationship. It can be a working relationship. It can be a relationship with a friend. It can be a family relationship. It can be any kind of relationship at all that has pretty much gone bad. When I say gone bad, it's no longer serving you. When we look at the relationships that are represented in the card, the Lovers, we're looking at real positivity. We're looking at this idea of open communication, of being honest, being free with yourself, sharing yourself and being brave, and sort of seeking truth in this idea of communication and what it can bring and enhance in a partnership. And we look at the Devil card, which does mirror the card of the Lovers. We're looking at a situation where this kind of dynamic, in whatever sort of relationship we're talking about, is no longer working to serve the best interests of the person who is involved. So when you're looking at the card for the Devil, you're looking at these figures who are chained by the neck to the seat of the Devil. The Devil himself, as I mentioned before, is doing this above and below. And what that's reminding us is that we truly do manifest everything that's in our lives. We are the creator, and we are also the creation. Our life is our creation, and our life is our mirror. So when we look at our life, if we see something miserable, we see something we hate, we see something unhappy, we see things that aren't working, what we're actually doing is we are giving ourselves a mirror to say, hold up in front of ourselves so we can understand that what's going on the inside is creating that reflection. That's a reflection of what's happening within us. If we're distressed, if we're angry, if we're holding on to negativity, if we're focusing on the problems, not on the solutions, then we start to create the problem. You know, you often hear the phrase, what you resist will persist, or what you fear you will draw near. And this card is telling us that, as above, so below. You are manifesting your life, and if the situation in your life is something that is negative, something that you don't enjoy, something that you don't like, then you need to realise that you have created this. Now, not saying that you want to suffer, or that you are deliberately harming yourself, or this is your fault. There is no blame in that kind of respect with the Devil card. What it is telling you is that if you want your situation, circumstances to change, then you need to change inside. and change what you're putting out there, and you can change that situation. So even if you're at the bottom of the barrel and things are really bad, know that you have the power to create your reality, and you have the power within yourself to change that. So these figures, as I mentioned before, are chained to the devil. Now when we looked at the Lovers, we're looking at this kind of freedom, this communication. It's a real open, free expression of who you are. When you're looking at figures that are chained like that, it is almost that this expression is not being true to who they are. So you're in a situation, you're in a partnership, you're in a relationship, you're in some kind of circumstance where you are not being true to yourself, or you haven't been true to yourself, or what is happening is not true to you. It's not making you happy. In fact, what is happening to you is that you are becoming kind of almost enslaved by the situation. You are chained to something, and we can often end up in a situation where we feel that we are like chained. We're chained to another person. Maybe you're married and you're very unhappy in the relationship, and you want to get out of it, but you don't feel that you can, and you're afraid of hurting the other person, and all these kind of things going on in your head. So you start to resent the other person, you resent the situation, and the more you resent and the more you focus on the negativity, the more you feel tethered and chained into that situation. You feel like you can't get out, you feel like you can't break free, and this is all something that you create within your own head. It's a situation, it's like kind of a prison that you create for yourself. This also represents things perhaps in your life that you may be chained to. I think this card often talks about things like addictions, an addiction to drink, an addiction to smoking, addiction to drugs, an addiction to exercise, an addiction to a person, an addiction to food. Any kind of addiction, I think, is represented by this card. And often I think when I see this card in the spread, I'm looking at somebody who maybe has something that has pushed their life out of balance, that has become too big of a focus for them, that is kind of addictive in nature. And this is something that's harmful to them. They feel chained to it. They feel chained to the negativity. They feel chained to the addiction. They feel like they don't know how to get out of it. Like, it's when you back yourself metaphorically into a corner and you feel like you don't know how to break free of it, you'll often see the devil card. The devil card is reminding you that you have created above and below. You've created this situation, you've created this reality, and because you've created it, you can get yourself out of it. This card is telling you it's time to empower yourself. It's time to make those changes. It's time to break these cycles. If something started out really well and then went bad, let's say you started working in a job, at first you really liked your colleagues and liked your boss, and things were going great, but as you went along and time went on, you realised the company wasn't in line with your values, that you didn't like what you were being asked to do, that there were too many hours to work, that the pressure was too much, that what you thought was a great opportunity is actually causing you stress and discomfort, but you feel chained to it because it's paying your wages and that's how you get food to eat and that's how you support your family. And then the more you feel chained, the more panicky you are, the more despairing you can be, and the more depressed you can become, and the more lethargic you can become. And this card tells you that there's no reason to feel hopeless, because sometimes you see this card and you think the person that you're reading for is in that situation almost of despair, where they just want to throw up their hands, they don't know what to do. It makes me think of my cat, actually, one of the cats I had when I was growing up. She had a litter of kittens. She was a stray cat, it was an outdoor cat, and that first litter of kittens, one of the kittens was very, very sick, and it kind of got like cat flu, and we were trying to take care of the kitten, and she kept on taking him away and hiding in places. And my mum said that one day she was looking out the kitchen window and she saw the cat was sitting out there and just staring fixedly through the window, just staring at her and staring at her. And at her feet was lying this really sick kitten. And my mum said that the cat just like connected eyes, looked onto her, and just yowled, like one mournful yowl. And my mum said that she knew in that moment that this was the cat saying, okay, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm going to let you take care of the kitten now. And so before, she'd been kind of running off with the kitten. My mum went out, picked up the kitten, we took it to the vet, and we were feeding him with a little pipette dropper with baby food and all sorts. And he grew up and he was fine. But it's that moment when you can reach a point of despair, when suddenly you realise that perhaps you need to ask for help, for example, or that what you're doing is not working anymore, and you have to take responsibility for it, and you have to take steps to get out of that, because these mental chains, the chains that you put yourselves in, they're all in part illusory. There is no situation that cannot be overcome, and the devil is reminding you, you are the creator of your reality, and you can change the situation. You don't have to be chained into a relationship that you're unhappy in, a situation or circumstance that you're not happy in. Next up we have the Star as a lovely contrast to the devil, which is very deep, deep stuff. The Star is a beautiful, lovely card. This is a card of freedom. It's almost like the Devil comes before this, when you're in that situation where you get into that corner and you're backed into a place where you don't know what to do anymore, and then the Star comes along and liberation, relief opens up before you. You can be free. You've come through something. I mean, the Star, this is literally saying to you, follow your star, follow your star, follow your own guidance, follow your dreams. This card, whenever I see it, I just think of that, follow your dreams. And that is what this card is trying to tell you to do. Just realised it's already 10 minutes long. Gonna have to try and race through this and get this little message on my screen saying low disk space and where this video isn't going to save. The Star very much reminds you of the astrological symbol of Aquarius, kneeling there with one foot in the water and one knee on land, like the Temperance card that's talking about that idea of calmness and gentleness and conservation. The Star is in touch, a person or a situation where you're in touch with your emotion, your intuition, things that are happening, but you're also very grounded and very secure. It's a real balance that's happening. And with the Star comes this creativity. So it's saying that when you reach a point of balance, when you can understand your emotions and your feelings, and you can stay grounded and keep one foot on the earth, and you can really free yourself, and the Star is wearing no clothes. This is a person who is completely free, feels totally liberated, is following their dreams. From that point, you reach this amazing space of creation. Yeah, the water is pouring out of the jugs in this card. It's fertilizing the ground. It's making things grow. This is this card that talks about follow your dreams, follow your goals, go for it. Wherever your vision is, just follow it and trust yourself and let go. Unclutch, let go, and bask in being yourself and really following your dreams and being true to who you are. When you do that and you make that change in your life, you're actually opening up this amazing space of creativity. This amazing fertile situation around you is going to grow. Sorry, that's really short. I spent so long talking about the Devil. Now I'm a bit concerned that I'm going to run out of disk space. So we're going to go quickly onto the Tower. Ah, my old friend. Every time I see this card in a reading for myself, I always think that, my old friend, the Tower. I personally have experienced the Tower many times. We know each other very, very well. The Tower is a dramatic, scary looking card. And when you get the Tower in a spread, it usually means something fairly dramatic and often a little bit scary is going to happen or has happened or is happening. Obviously, ethical tarot reading, don't frighten the person you're reading for, you know, be moderate in the way that you read this card. The thing that you kind of notice the most about the Tower is you've got these two figures falling from the Tower here. Wearing a red cape, wearing a blue robe. It's almost like the Magician and the High Priestess. You know, these kind of the highest male and female figures are coming tumbling, falling, crashing out of the Tower with this stormy background. A lightning kind of rod, almost from above, has struck the top of the tower and it's knocked the crown off. And that really is, the crown represents the head. The crown represents your thought, represents your sense of being, your sense of self. And when you see the Tower in a spread, it's usually telling you that you're going to have, or there is going to be, or has been, a shock to the system, a major shock system. Something in your life you're going to have to question. It's going to really, things could be blown apart. It's entirely possible that a relationship might collapse, that your finances might collapse, you might suddenly lose your job. It could be as dramatic as that. Your beliefs might come into question. You might have been very religious and then suddenly something happens in your life and everything that you thought that you knew and the way that you thought things were, suddenly it's changed overnight and you're looking at things from a totally different perspective, and that is a massive shock to the system. It can literally, it shakes your world. And you're looking at the Tower there, and it's almost like the Tower of Babel. You know, they built too high, and the tower was struck down, and there's a lot of lack of communication going on. And so with the Tower here, you're looking at that massive shock to the system. Something is going to happen, something quite dramatic that's going to change the way you see a situation, that's going to change something hugely. And it can be very disturbing to you, because when something knocks the wind out of your sails, or when the way that you've always thought something is, or something works, is suddenly your eyes are opened and you realise that things are dramatically different. It's very hard to process. But what the Tower is telling us is that you must rebuild. How important it is to rebuild. The most successful people in the world are people who have failed and they've rebuilt and they've rebuilt. How many times do you have to get up when you're knocked down? As many times as it takes. Get back on the horse, get back on the horse, and each time when you rebuild your tower, you're going to make it stronger. if this happens to you, if you get this card and something does fall apart or something dramatic does happen in your life, remember it's an opportunity, because what you've probably done is you've built something that's not on a solid foundation, and it was bound to happen from the beginning. This is a clearing out. This is going to happen. It's going to shake your world up, and then when the dust clears, when the dust settles after this card and you look around, you're going to be looking out on a brave new world, a whole new place, and you'll have the chance to build something the way you really want it to be. So it's a massive opportunity. I would talk more about it, and then I would probably do another video about the tarot, obviously about tarot, but about the Tower card at some stage, because I have so many personal stories that relate to the Tower, but I'm rushing because of time worries. So have a lovely day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.